Hello, how are you doing today? Today we are here to talk about the path in choosing to serve your community.
The Women's Business Center. Your first step to success.
My name is Aida, Salinas, Flores, and I'm your judge of the 398th District Court in Hidalgo County, Texas.
Hi, I'm Giselle, Mascarenhas-Villarreal, and I'm with Indigo PR, and I'm one of the sponsors of The Edge.
My name is Charo Mann. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center.
My name is Hammond, and I'm with Atmos Electrical and Air Conditioning Services and also a sponsor of The Edge.
Hello, I'm Dori, Contreras, Garza. I'm one of your justices on the 13th Court of Appeals.
Thank you all for being here very much. We're very excited. It's not every day that we have the opportunity to have, judges in our presence and able to really ask the questions that a lot of people may be wondering, but more than anything, to get your insight on how you did it, like how to inspire others to follow their dreams and make their dreams a reality. So I want to say personally, thank you very much for taking the time to be here.
You're welcome.
It's our pleasure. One of our first questions that we'd like to focus on today is going to be, what makes you choose to serve your community? What makes those choices?
I think that one of the most amazing things that we can do is to help one another. And how do you do that and how do you make that decision? I think we're born with that because service brings a lot of personal satisfaction to your life. And growing up in Sullivan City, one of 7 in a very humble home where my father was disabled, where we were out in the fields picking cotton, you never would have thought that I would be sitting in one of the district courts here in Hidalgo County. But I think that having been born with the idea of being kind and being of service to one another is very instrumental in making a decision to serve the community, because what you learn at home from service to one another, to your brothers and sisters, to your mother, you bring with you always. So what do you bring to this position? You bring your background, you bring your life stories. And my history has been of knowing about poverty, wanting to get out of poverty by means of an education, and after an education being able to achieve whatever was in the path for me. So I don't want to take a lot of time because I know I have a time limit. But I can go back, but I always go and talk to children and I say education is the key that opens doors to opportunities, boundless doors. So I commend the Women's Center for Business Center for educating the community about all the opportunities that are available with an education to women all over this county, especially, but all over whoever happens to listen to us in this video around the world.
Thank you so much.
And Dori?
I agree with Judge Aida. I think it's something that is in you, that you're born with. I know that as a youngster and throughout college and law school, I was always one of these that wanted to be involved and was involved in various clubs, various organizations, and inevitably I was in a leadership role. In band, in high school I was drum major, in college, I was president of the organizations that I was involved in, same thing in law school. So I think there's something in you that just wants to be involved, and then as you get older, then you recognize the needs that are in the community, and you have a passion for wanting to serve, and so you just get involved. But as a lawyer, then becoming a judge is like the pinnacle of the legal career. So
And it is obviously a step higher. It's not everybody can covet that position. But what makes you decide? You two have had a very successful law firm, and going and being a judge, that it's not about the money. It's definitely about serving. What makes that happen? Where in you does it have to do with the fact that inside, like you said, it's something that you're born with, that you need to serve?
I think that for me, when I was in law school, I had the opportunity to intern with a judge. I was in Houston at the time. And as I did some observation in his court and saw him sitting in that position, it just impressed upon me a feeling. And I felt then and there, I think I can see myself doing that someday.
You can envision
Why,
it.
I don't know, but I had that impressed
That's
upon me. And then in later years, as I became a lawyer, and yes, I was very fortunate and I did have a successful law practice. But I had friends and likewise as a lawyer, I was very involved in the legal community, the Bar Association. I became president of the Bar Association. So you get to know people, you develop your reputation, and then opportunities come up. And in my case, a good friend, a dear friend of mine, encouraged me to seek election to a different court. This was before I successfully ran for this court, but in the 90s. A female judge, the first female judge in the Rio Grande Valley, Leti Hinojosa,
Yes.
in the 90s, was a good friend of mine, and she encouraged me to run for the first court that I ran for. And like I said, becoming a judge is really the pinnacle of the legal career, so it's just that great feeling.
And how did that happen? I mean, when was that decision? When did you know that that was what you wanted to do?
I didn't ever have a clue that I would be a judge. Having been born from humble parents and parents that didn't get to graduate from high school, much less college. I was the first college graduate in my family, and my college days were very short and very intense. I went through college in 2.5 years because my family was very poor. My father was disabled and my mother didn't have a job, and someone needed to come and step up to the plate and help with the family. So I graduated in 2.5 years. I was 19 years old. I went back to my alma mater where I had graduated from high school in '68, and I was a school teacher. So I started teaching at the age of 19, and I had my sister as a student, if you can believe that. She was a difficult student. But that was my path. My path was to get an education to help my parents, to support my parents. And in the course of teaching, the summer came in, and I married my high school beau, Renee. And I needed a job, so my sister was in the employment business. You know my sister Aida?
Yes.
Who doesn't know Aida? She was a successful business person here in the community. Well, she found me a job at the juvenile probation department, and they didn't have a job, so I went to the adult probation department. I worked there for 2.5 years, and I saw these lawyers coming in representing their clients, and I said to myself, I can do that. So on a fluke, I made an application to go to the University of Texas in Austin, one application. And I went on my business, left the probation department after 2.5 years. And I worked with judges. There were only 4 district court judges at the time. I did a lot of pre-sentence investigations. I helped the judges do a lot of their sentencing because I would do background studies on the people that were coming before the courts. So I got to work with 4 district judges at the time when I was a probation officer. But then I went to work at the Texas Rehabilitation Commission as a vocational counselor, and I got my acceptance letter from the University of Texas in Austin. And I go, wow, look at this. And my husband says, no, I don't think you should go. You know, I'll build you a house and I'll buy you a car. And I stay here. And I said, okay, you know, we can do that. I went to talk to my dad and my mom. They said, no, mijita, you know, because I'd go and visit them every 2 weeks. Every 8 days. And they said, no, you, con la educación que tienes, tú, donde quiera que caes parada. You know, like the cats, you throw them up and they always come back in their floors. So I said, fine. So we went to go see about financing. And that's when my padrino in Rio Grande City, you're now the first lady of
That's right.
Rio Grande.
Thank you for that plug.
Esteban Garcia was my first padrinos at our wedding, and he said, oh no, you can always build a house, you can always have a car, but an education is something that no one can take from you. So he flipped my husband, and off we went. We lived in a mobile home at that time.
He went with you.
He went with me. And I had a 2-year-old. Ana Maria was 2 years old when I took her to law school with me. And off we went to law school. So it was not something that I planned or I saw in my vision. It was something that happened in my life because of God's hand. You know, I think God has a destiny for all of us. And I saw your all stories. And I think that eventually, you know, you grow and it hurts when you grow, you know, but you become who God wants you to be.
That's right.
The best
What a
person
great
that you can be.
That's